Yeah, her OnlyFans make 35 a month. I told to buy a CryptoPunk, and that was last.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 4 of NEKO-ALPHA, bringing you Japan-related alpha and more from the United NEKO Alliance headquarters here in Tokyo. And I am Reno, here with Steve and Neil.
Hey gents, great to be here.
We're your hosts, and please remember, it's not financial advice to your own research, blah, blah, blah. This is commentary, info sharing, entertainment, and trying to share with the world what's going on here in Japan. We'll have our alpha coming up and some other stuff. But first of all, what are we listening to? What's this audio underneath us right now?
That's called Bought A Cryptopunk by Champ, Medici, and Big Wes. Just picked that up on Dog On It, Death Row Mixtape Volume 1. So Snoop Dogg dropped that from, what's the record called? Death Row.
Yeah, Death Row Records, and then this is his Death Row NFT thing, which is super cool. He's really paving the way, for getting musicians into NFTs and into the crypto space. It's very, very cool.
Yeah, good to see. Good to see stuff happening in music, NFTs, and we will be on the lookout for some cool music-related NFT stuff in Japan too.
Absolutely. So rolling into the alpha, what is the alpha, Neil? What's this all about?
So I just want to say a little bit about the NFT scene in Japan. Things are really picking up. NFTs are in the news almost every day, and we're seeing announcements by celebrities. All of the big companies seem to want to be jumping in doing something. But as usual, most of this is 100% focused on the domestic market. So everything about it is the announcements and the NFTs and the platforms are all in Japanese. So what we're doing with NEKO-ALPHA, as much as possible, we want to bring you updates on creators and teams who are trying to reach out to the world and who are trying to put together a full package. And by that, I mean trying to bring together the art, the team, the community, and some idea of the future roadmap of what they want to do. So in terms of what kind of full package collections are dropping right now, it's a little sparse, but that's what we're doing here. We're going to bring you the news as we find it in Japan, but we're going to be trying to dig up these really, really cool people that are putting together a whole package and looking at the world.
Absolutely, yeah. That's the big goal. The Galapagos effect is like you said, Neil, is happening in this space too. A lot of the big players that are getting involved are making it in Japan, only for Japan. But there are plenty of people who want to expand into the outside world. And one in particular is PiPiPi, which Steve's going to introduce. What do you know about this project?
I want to talk about PiPiPi. This is a really cool artist who is telling a story in a serialized comic strip. So meet PiPiPi of the comic strip. She's in debt. 3.5 million yen in debt, which is something around 30,000 US dollars. And she decides she's going to make NFTs or learn about NFTs to try to help her get out of debt. So the story is a story of that process of going on the journey, studying MetaMask, studying OpenSea, learning how to mint, getting buyers, even overseas buyers, and going through sort of personal uncertainties, challenges, and the joys of the process. And probably something that a lot of artists go through. A lot of people that are getting into the space, start learning and have their own kind of, doubts and difficulties, but she gets through it. And what's cool is, and as part of that story, she talks about, somebody says, "Hey, why don't you do it in English?" And she's like, "Oh, can I really do that? Oh yeah, we can get translators." So what's cool is each day there's an original 4-panel comic strip that gets uploaded to the site that she's using, but there's also English translations of a lot of them. So it's very appealing to the Japanese buyers, but also to some foreign buyers who want to see it in English. And what's been cool is a community. It seems like a community is forming around it, because on the website you can see the people who have bought each of the days. They're listed there, both in Japanese and English. And there's now an OpenSea page where there's a secondary market, and you can actually buy one of the original Japanese or one of the English translations. So it's pretty cool. And what's interesting, the whole story is about learning the process and trying to eventually use NFTs to get out of debt. But what happens is actually through the community and through the buzz that she was making, she eventually does get out of debt, but it's through another piece that was bought on auction on Foundation. And she sold that for 13.37 ETH, which is amazing. And congratulations to PiPiPi on her journey from debt to being an NFT star in Japan, or a star in the making.
Yeah, this one's really cool. I really like the non-fiction nature of this person's journey, and just sort of the straightforward honesty of like getting her head around the space and actually narrating / illustrating the story of it going along. It's really cool. It's a really sort of novel idea. I wonder if we'll see more sort of, stuff like this, like near real time sort of narratives of the experience with NFTs and crypto. It's cool. It's a very cool concept.
I'd like to give a big shout out to NFT Japan for introducing this to me. Two people, Sophie, who I've been talking to for a little bit. She leads the NFT Japan weekly English Twitter Spaces, which is really great to learn a little bit about what's going on here. And Junia, who actually introduced me to it. Two people who are very active in their Discord. But I think we'll have their Twitter, NFT Japan, in the video description below.
All right, yeah, that's a really cool project. So the next one we're going to move on to is a project that we actually introduced in the last episode. We have some new sort of developments on that, and some new interaction there, right, Neil?
That's right. So last week we introduced the Hoshino Bespoke shoes and their first NFT collection. So I was able to get in touch with Shunji Hoshino, the founder and owner of Hoshino Bespoke shoes, and visited his store, had a discussion with him about his project. Can you explain the idea behind your NFT and what you want to do with it?
Now we are the made-to-order brand, Hoshino, in Japan. We started the service as an order, so everyone purchased the shoes from in the shop with the actual real shoes. It's a normal, but now we release the NFT because first of all, customer can get the beautiful shoes design only first. Then if they need the real shoes or in the earth, or shoes design or shoes information in the Metaverse or something in the future, they can purchase or they can make in addition. So it's a kind of the choice by the customer because now only we have a service. We can only buy the shoes in the shop, but for the future, if we can use the NFT service, customer can choose choice. They can buy only the NFT first. Then for the future, they want to use that. Not only the NFT, but also the shoes and the shoes in the Metaverse. Yeah, it's a choice, I think.
Are all of the NFTs unique? Are they all in one of one?
Yes, sure, definitely, because it's a value, I think.
And so when the people want to make the NFTs into shoes, and you have to make 10,000 different shoes, how long will that take to make 10,000 shoes?
Now we have a plan to release 10,000 unique shoes design in 3 months or 4 months. Yeah, one by one. Then, now we have a plan to release change the design to the actual shoes service in September or October. Yeah, now we are preparing one by one.
But to make the actual shoes, like suppose you sell all the NFTs, then everybody wants to get the shoe.
Yes, because we are shoemaker.
Yeah, but how long would it take to make 10,000 unique shoes?
If we get orders, but now we make the shoes in the month, 300 or 400 per month. But this is a made to order bespoke one.
Yeah.
So it's so complicated to create one by one. But if we can get the order by sneaker from the NFT, not so difficult, I think, because we are the made to order brand. So now every day we make a one by one with so complicated structure shoes now. So
Very good. Thank you. 素晴らしい. So Hoshino Bespoke Shoes has been making shoes since 2014. Typically, the prices range from 80,000 yen to 1.5 million. So that's about $800 to $15,000 for custom shoes. And one of the things I was wondering when I saw the NFT, actually I picked one up, and you get the NFT, but then you've got to later you've got to pay extra. You pay an extra 300 if you want a real shoe, extra 300 US dollars, or an extra $50 if you want the digital item. So I talked to Shunji about that. And so what he was saying is that he wants to change the way we think about buying shoes. So until now, you go to a shoe store, you see shoes you like, and you're like, okay, I'm going to buy these shoes. And then you buy the shoes and then you wear them sometime. Right. So what he thinks is that because of the metaverse and the way we are becoming more digital, is that you might see a design you like for a shoe and you're like, cool, I want that design. So you pick up the design and then you own the design NFT, and you can hold it, you can trade it, you could get another one. And then later at some time you're like, oh, now I want to use this design in the metaverse. So I'm going to redeem this for my digital shoe. Or, oh, now I want to have the real shoe, and so I'm going to redeem this and get the real shoe. So that's how he's thinking about it, and I think that's pretty innovative. I talked to him about the logistics of this, because there's 10,000 NFTs sitting there on OpenSea, but they're not revealed, right? There's a few revealed, and so what's happening is Shunji's got a small team, and they're working on the design. So the photographer, the theme is traveling, and so all these photos. The first ones are Japan, but there's going to be not limited to Japan. But the photographer, Shoko Takayasu, she's a longtime associate of Shunji and Hoshino Bespoke Shoes. She takes all of the photos of their shoes for their marketing materials. So I talked to Shunji about the process of making the shoes, and he's using photos by Shoko Takayasu. They have a laser printing method for putting the photos onto leather, making it's a kind of a sneaker. So it's not their typical shoes. You've got to go in for a fitting. You've got to get a last made, which is a model of your foot, perfect model of your foot. These will be more like how you buy shoes regularly. They'll come in sizes, so you have the size. They have to make the design for each one. So they're doing that now, and he figures that's going to take them several months. So they'll be slowly revealing this. So this is a very slow process of minting this. I think that the word is going to get out. This is very high-end shoemaker. So they already come, they're coming with the competency to build all these shoes. And I said, what happens if you sell out your all 10,000 and, and everybody wants to buy their shoes? Because every shoe is a unique one-of-one design. So that could be 10,000 different unique shoes, right? I was like, well, how long would it take if everybody wanted to redeem their shoes at once? Very unlikely scenario, but what if? And Shunji said, well, they make about 300 shoes, full order 300 shoes, completely custom now, with people coming in for 1 or 2 fittings right now, 300 per month. So, they could make much more of this kind of shoe. So he's not worried. He said, that's what we do. We make custom shoes. So I think this is really cool. And I think it's just a matter of time before this gets discovered. And he may sell out sooner than he thinks and be rushing to make a whole bunch of shoes there.
Yeah, it's a really interesting project. And as we've talked about before, something that appeals to all of us, I think, is how, some creators are trying to bridge the gap between the digital and the meat space to actually connect with people in real life, in addition to what may happen in the digital space. So that's very cool. I would also say that the Shoko's photos are excellent. That was one of the first things that stood out to me in their social media and stuff, that her photos are very lovely. So yeah, best of luck to him. It'll be interesting to follow, see how that develops along. And then, so jumping from that one, Neil, you had another piece from the gymnast guy, right?
Yeah. So next we've got Kohei Uchimura Project. So Kohei, his nickname is The King. He is a world famous gymnast, one of the all-time greats, and he's Olympian, many medals, and he's retiring. So as part of his retirement, there's going to be commemorative. It looks like there's 3 commemorative NFT projects announced. The first one is dropping today. So project number 1, memorial art. I think this might be the art here. It's dropping tonight, Thursday, the 17th at 9 p.m. Japan time on OpenSea. We don't have a link yet. It's probably going to be on this page here. We don't know how long the auction's running. We'll drop the link in the description below, and the auction may well still be going on when this video comes out later. And it looks like there's a couple other phases here. There's like project number 2, which is some kind of you can get a live signature. So this is only if you're in Japan. And then there's project number 3 coming soon. So we don't know what that is, but it's interesting to see just a variety of stuff. So here we've got, a sports themed commemorative project. Any comments on this, guys?
As you mentioned, he's a super big name in gymnastics, and everyone is into gymnastics and that sort of stuff will definitely know who this guy is. To the wider audience, the outside of Japan audience, maybe not as much, but I still think it's really cool that it's kind of a random sport and a random person in a certain way, despite his notoriety for being so skilled, to just jump in and get involved in this. So even if there is a limited scope and limited reach, it's still cool to see someone jumping in, getting involved in this way.
I don't have much of a comment, but just to say, it's really cool how these kinds of ideas can develop and happen with Web3.
Yeah. So best of luck to him. Keep an eye on it, see what happens, and if there's anything that comes up, we'll let everyone know. The last piece of alpha today is again coming from Neil, heavy with the alpha, and this one is about fish.
So this is a town in Niigata Prefecture, and this is one of the. So when you get out of Tokyo, especially if you get out into the small towns, many of the small towns of Japan have the same problem. The towns are essentially dying. All the young people have left. The old people are aging, and towns are struggling to survive. And so this small town claims to be the origin town for Nishiki-Goi, which is the Japanese colored carp. And so as part of a way to rejuvenate the town and raise some money, they're doing a couple mints of NFTs with carp-based art. So what I thought was cool about this project, I mean, that's the kind of project I expect to see coming out of the rural Japan. But what I like about this is that I think they've picked a couple really good artists. So here's the NIshiki-Goi. Here's their Twitter. Of course, we'll put all the links below. But so here's the mint page. So they've got 2 artists to start with and a mint page for each. And on the left there, you see Okaz. And so let me just move to Okaz's. Here's Okaz's Twitter. Look at that nice Ukrainian tribute piece. So this person does generative art, and it's just basically good. It's a really good artist. So this is, hopefully we can maybe get in touch with the artists that are involved with this, or somebody from the town, and find out about this. But I just like to see that that not only are they doing the project to support, small towns, but that they're picking good art. That's the thing that if you don't do that, then, you're not going to end up with much. So here's the second artist. And again, this artist also does both illustration and generative coding. So looks like a woman artist. So yeah, it's just really great to see that they're working with good art for the project.
Definitely. I really like the working with the carp, the koi fish. It's also something that it's a piece of Japanese culture, maybe not as famous as ninja and samurai and things like that, but the koi fish art and imagery is something that people do know around the world. I like that. And as you mentioned, just getting any efforts to sort of help revitalize these small towns are great. And this is definitely part of our mission with the United NEKO Alliance as well. Is, we've mentioned it before, the lack of, there's no tourists left anymore, and tourists were one of the things that were helping to revitalize these small towns and bringing some revenue into them, and that's all gone now. So I think it's really positive to see a project like this, like trying to use Web3 to do something to help keep these towns alive and hopefully generate some value for them. It's definitely something we're interested in. As Steve is apt to say, it's Japan is not all bright lights, a big city. We love that part of it. We're here in Tokyo. It's a great city, but there's a lot outside of the big city as well. So this is a cool project. It's very, very much thematically congruent to what we're trying to do as well. I like that.
I went to a koi breeder up in Yamagata a few years ago and got a tour of the facilities, and it's amazing the prices some of the fish with the really good markings go for. It's like hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was interesting that they were saying that a lot of their buyers are now international.
Yeah, it makes sense. Having lived on the west coast of the U.S. for a while, there's a market there for it. There's a lot of Japanese gardens. One of the best Japanese gardens in the world is in Portland, Oregon. So they're going to need some nice fish. Yeah, so that's a cool project. Keep an eye on that one as well.
So that's our alpha for today.
Yeah.
So that's our alpha for today. That's our alpha for today.
Don't edit that. Keep it in. I like it as it is. And that's the alpha for today.
Is that it for the alpha?
I think that's it. Yeah.
Okay.
Last thing, as we have mentioned before, we like to insert a few little anecdotes, little stories about life here in Japan. And given the season, spring is upon us, and that means that the sakura, the cherry blossoms, are coming out. So we thought we'd tell maybe a few quick stories about our experience doing Hanami, which is flower viewing, which is further translated drinking and eating underneath the cherry blossoms in the springtime, which is lovely. Public drinking is legal in Japan, so you can go to the park with your friends, have drinks, have food. It's lovely. As I mentioned previously, I used to live in the south of Japan in Kumamoto. And I lived in a little small town called Kikuchi for a while, and it had a really nice, really big city park. And the local izakayas, which is like it's like a bar / restaurant where you get, you know, small snacks and you eat while you're drinking. The local izakayas would bring a barbecue and food for free to this park to whoever made the reservation. And the only thing was you had to buy your drinks from that bar or restaurant. And because that's where they make their money, of course, is on the alcoholic beverages, they'd bring the food for free. So I really miss that about doing Hanami down there. It was beautiful, clean air, clean, lovely park, lots of food. So yeah, that's my Hanami story. Neil, you had something about your time in Hiroshima, right?
Yeah, so that's my early days in Japan. We're in Hiroshima, and from the very first year I experienced it, I think Hanami, the sakura cherry blossom season, became really my favorite thing about Japan. And anybody who hasn't been to Japan yet, if you ever get a chance to visit Japan in this season, the end of March, up to the first few days of April, I highly recommend it. And hopefully we're gonna, when we get through this pandemic, you know, this is definitely something that I hope we can do in future years with the United Neko Alliance, is have the ultimate Web3 Hanami party. But just thinking back to some of those early Hanami years, there's too many memories to even go into. But in Hiroshima, there's a very big park in the middle of the city called Peace Park, which is right across from the what they call the A-bomb dome, which is the building that was left behind as a commemorative to the nuclear explosion in Hiroshima. And in fact, the whole Peace Park is part of that. And that is lined with cherry trees. And so that's one of the big places to go. But there's many other places in the city. I have fond memory of a place called Ebayama Koen, which is a little park on top of a tiny little mountain. The tiny little mountain was right beside a big apartment building where a friend of mine lived. And so the apartment building was literally higher than the mountain, which was really just a hill. That little hill had its own kind of cherry tree that is only found on that hill. Wow. And so we had so we had a yearly party there. That friend ran a izakaya, a small restaurant, for many years in Hiroshima. And so it was sort of the whole group of people that used to hang out there would get together once a year. And that was a great one. Even after I moved up to Tokyo, I still for many years, I would go back in cherry blossom season, make the trip down there.
I have no story, but I love how all of Japan watches the cherry blossom report. It's kind of like the weather report, where it shows when the cherry blossoms will start blooming, and it kind of goes west to east, and starting in the coastal areas, and it extends north as timing goes on. But it kind of sweeps through in a couple days or a week or so for most of the country, and then to the north it'll extend another month or even 2 months into Hokkaido. But it's a really magical time here. And it's really great to see the beauty and also enjoy the beauty with friends.
Definitely, yeah. It's a really cool cultural tradition, and it sort of rings in spring. It's like that's when we all know, all right, the winter's done. Enjoy spring while you can. It's gonna get hot soon. But yeah, great tradition. I think we all really like that a lot. So yeah, we'll share some photos, maybe some videos on social media of the cherry blossoms as over the next week or so. And everyone loves pictures of lovely little pink flowers. So to wrap things up, a very, very quick update from us, from the United Neko Alliance. one thing that we're doing right now is early planning for our NEKO Kai #2, which is our in real life meetup. We're still under a sort of pseudo state of emergency or until March 21st. That's just 4 days away. So we're hoping to get our plan together for our next in-person meetup, in real life meetup, sometime after that. Not much more to update. We talked about artwork a little bit last week. Last week it was headphones. This week it's sunglasses, which is a new feature, a new little variant that we're going to be sprinkling in here and there across the different families. And another thing we're thinking about is a very small batch to include in the larger mint for Year of the Tiger. Lends itself well to a collection of 5,555 NEKOs. So that about wraps us up. Yeah, gentlemen?
Remember to subscribe to this channel, like it, and check out the Discord, join the Discord. Some of the freshest alpha will appear first in the Discord channel. And of course, you want to just join the NEKO community there in the Discord and be part of it as we get ready for minting our 5,555 NEKOs.
Absolutely. So we'll sign off for now. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And thank you for watching and listening, and talk to you all next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Out.
Bye, everyone.
And cut.